Hello, everyone, and welcome to Movie Mandates, the show where my sister and I force each other to watch movies according to a monthly theme. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Kelly.
This month, we determine if the filmic turds from our youth are as bad as we remember. And to kick off this fecal fare, I've mandated we watch the first movie I remember not seeing through to the end. That's right, so offended were my delicate teenage sensibilities that I shut this movie off after an hour and have continued ranting about its stool-like sins for the last 30 years. This colon-dwelling excuse for a movie is, of course, none other than Babe. That's right, the talking pig movie. But before we wallow in the waste of this popular kids movie, if it is indeed as bad as we remember, it's only fair that since I mandated today's manure movie, Kelly gets to challenge me in a segment we call Trivial Trivia.
Manure movie. I love it. So we have so much trivia, as I warned you, because I truly couldn't decide which
So all the trivia.
angle I wanted to take because there was a lot of angles. There were a lot of avenues that you could go down after watching this movie. One avenue that I really wanted to traverse is more something.
Avenue Q?
Yeah, that one. Um, One avenue I wanted to traverse was one that I was like, uh, more for me that I, and I'm like, this is one that I think I would be very good at if it was being asked to me.
I mean, I mandated you watch this damn movie, so you may as well
And
do
then
something
another
nice
one
for
I was,
yourself.
I was like, it would probably be harder for me, but I think easier for you. So I'm gonna just make us do both
All right.
because they're both fun to chat about anyways. But we're gonna start with one for me because self-centered. Yeah. Babe, not the blue ox, the pink pig, the palish whitish pink pig that goes la la la, which I have a lot to talk about. Anyways, we're not there yet. Is a G-rated film, and it was nominated for Best Picture, as we know, much to your and my chagrin. And things that I remember back in the time of it being nominated for Best Picture. If you also remember
Didn't it
James
get visual
Cromwell,
effects,
it did. That was the only one it won. It won visual effects.
which it
Now
should not
having
have,
seen,
because that's
uh,
bad, but
however,
get there, I'm sure.
James Cromwell, if you recall,
Hmm.
was nominated for supporting actor,
Hmm.
and I had almost forgotten about that. And I
Wait,
remember
supporting who's the lead actor? The pig?
he can't be a lead actor because the movie's not about him,
Ah,
and he
that's
only
true.
has like 16 lines, so he's not a leading
You
actor.
know what? He doesn't. Yeah, that's right. Two of them are the same. So yeah, that'll do, pig. That'll do.
Most of them are the same. Away to me, pig.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's
That'll do,
basically the
pig.
directions. Yeah.
That's all he says. Um, but I remember the time that it was very like we were like him. Oh, that. We were very upset. There was a lot that built on us disliking this movie. This is not. We're just talking now. Anyways, it was a G-rated film. Not a lot of G-rated films have been nominated for Best Picture in the Academy Awards. Um, there have been, actually, there has been a G-rated film that has won. Only one has won. Um, there's actually been an X-rated film that has won as well. Funnily enough, they're the winning G-rated film and the winning X-rated film are back to back, and I will tell you why.
Wait, as in like the years?
Yes.
Huh.
The G-rated film won. The very next year, the X-rated film won. I will tell you what years that is.
Uh-huh.
You're going to tell me why that is the
Why?
reason. And I
Okay.
can guarantee you're going to know the reason
All right.
because it was 1969.
Oh, Hayes Code was over.
Yep. Now, there have been, I'm not going to tell you what movies they are. There have been more, so there's been one G-rated movie that has won and one X-rated movie that has won. They were back to back. How hilarious is this? There have been other nominees. Can you name any other G-rated film that has been up for the Best Picture Oscar? And can you name any, if they're the winner or not, X-rated film that has been up? X-rated at the time of nomination, because none of the ones that are X-rated at the time of nomination still hold the
Yeah,
X rating. I want
the
to be clear.
the yeah, because I think something Cowboy. It's either Midnight
That's the one that
Cowboy or
won, and it is Midnight Cowboy, and that
Midnight
is the one that
Cowboy is
won.
not rated X, at least anymore.
It is not rated X any longer.
Yeah,
No, but it did win.
and I've never seen it.
Neither have I, and I should.
Yeah. So
I
that
don't
was,
even know if there's like a trow drop in it. So I'm not
I
even
don't
I don't
think there
know.
is.
I don't
I
think
don't
so
know.
either.
Yeah.
So I
Must
know
be
it's about a
themes.
I know it's about a male gigolo. I know it's about a male
Hmm.
gigolo. That's redundant. A gigolo is male. But like, so I know that it's about that. Is that why it's an X? I do not know. So can you name another G?
Um,
Ooh,
did
that was a
Wizard of Oz get nominated?
I think it did, but I don't think that's a G-rated film.
Is it PG?
I think it is. It wasn't on my list. Wizard of Oz. MPAA. It might have not actually been rated. That might have been
Oh,
one of
when
the
did
reasons.
MPAA start rating stuff?
It is, it might be a G now.
Yeah, that's difficult to say because it's definitely rated now.
Yeah,
I don't know what
I
it's.
think it was approved.
Okay.
Approved. Yep.
I'm trying to think, did any of the Disney animated films get
Yes.
nominated for picture?
There is
Beauty and the
one.
Beast, right?
It was. Yeah. Yeah. Did not win. But Beauty and the Beast was
Um,
the first animated feature to get nominated. And it was
yeah, because I
what?
was thinking, I was like, because it was in that era, as like, was it
Hmm.
Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Lion King, and oh, it was
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast,
It was
right?
Beauty and the
I think
Beast.
it
Yeah.
also had original song.
Yeah.
I think it had song too.
Yeah. Um, I think that one had some sort of effects. It was up for effects because that like dancing ballroom sequence
Oh
was
yeah, yeah, yeah. They because they used
insane. They used a
that
lot of new
computer thing. I
technology.
mean, it's like a 7 second shot or something like that. That bird's eye uh,
Yeah.
move and pan. Yeah.
I remember watching the how-to of that and like her dress even. Yeah. So,
Yeah, we've got a woman in a gown with like a hoop skirt and moving feet, and then another character who's fuzzy. Yeah.
yes, exactly. So yeah, very exciting. The other whatever it's called is Oliver, which
Oh,
won.
I immediately went to Oliver and Company, the animated film, but Oliver, yeah.
Yeah, so there you
Yeah, I
go.
suppose that would be G.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so that was the trivial trivia for me. So yeah, from Oliver to Midnight Cowboy. They're like, woohoo! Hayes is gone. Let's get dirty. I find that bit of trivia fascinating. Oh, America.
Yeah.
How funny you are. So, Rex, the doggy,
Hmm.
the male dog in this film, uh,
Yeah.
who is voiced by
Hugo Weaving.
what an orator, right? I mean, don't you just that man
Yeah, because
can,
that was I was like, oh hey, I recognize that voice, and then I was thinking about it. Yeah, that's 4 years before The Matrix and 6 years before Lord of the Rings. Or
yep,
well,
yep.
I mean, they shot it before the release of Lord of the Rings. They definitely shot it like 2 years earlier than that. But
All right, keep going, brothers. Name another movie that he provides some lovely soliloquies in.
Other than the Matrix films,
Matrix,
and
Lord of the
Lord of
Rings.
the Rings.
He voices like another
He
big boy.
um I know I haven't seen it, but I think he's one of the owls in like Guardians of Ga'Hoole.
He is. How did you pick that out of like
I don't know why that one just popped in there because I haven't seen that movie. I just remember I think that was like around the same time, and it was just like maybe one of the advertisements were making a big deal about it, like and Hugo Weaving from Lord of the Rings or something like that. And I haven't even seen that movie. Um,
that's not the one I was thinking of, but
no,
yes, it is correct.
yeah, he's actually done a bunch of voice work, and I'm starting to blank on
Oh
it.
my,
Are you
someone I'm thinking yeah, another uh Lord of the Rings, Matrix, and another franchise. But
another franchise that he's in?
however, voice. It's his voice, not his likeness
Um,
for this third one. It's just his voice. And it is a franchise.
I'm hmm.
And it is a mega role. No, that didn't
No,
cue
that somehow
anything.
did not tip me off. I'm like, it's not Mega Man. That's not even a
No,
franchise. Is it a live action
no.
film series?
Yes, it is a live action series. He's not. It's only
He's
his voice,
just a
though.
voice.
Megatron.
Oh Jesus, that's right. In the Transformers movies. That's right. He is Megatron in the live action Transformers films. Yeah.
Yep.
That's actually what that was what I was trying to think of and just could not pull it out of my memory.
When you went to the owls, I'm like,
Yeah, that's
wow,
what
dude.
Transformers is what I was trying. Oh, Megatron. I get where you're going there. Um, my mind went Mega Man, Mega Mind, but no. Yeah,
Megatron.
that's because I was seeing like just explosions and
Yes.
just
Yeah.
big bombastic bullshit, and I just could not remember what the hell it was. And I went, Guardians of Ga'Hoole? What?
No, but it's just amazing that he's in like he's not in Star Wars, but like he's in three major like and he just has such a presence and they're like, "Hey, we have Hugo Weaving. Give him a soliloquy." Okay. Like it's just
Yeah.
so yeah, no, it was just so funny because that was my thing to name his three franchises and you
Do you
named
think
two of them telling
do you think he had to read the Bahram You poem to audition for this film?
okay, so probably. Can That's
Bark like a dog, you go.
possibly my favorite moment. I have several favorite moments of the film. That Ballroom U part is possibly my favorite moment because the they just go Ballroom U, Ballroom, and they just start doing it, and like the dog's like, is that it? Like that I can go now? Is that it? Was there more? Can I go? Like you can
That the whole
see his
thing?
impatience, and like
Like,
because
wouldn't it
they
be
just
easier if it was like a password or a passphrase, not a whole damn poem?
but like they keep going and they're like sing-songing it and
There's
like you
not like
can
a second verse, is there?
he's like, "Can I that's it. I'm okay, I'm going. I'm just gonna I hope that that's enough to convince these guys because I got a schedule to
I'm
keep."
kind of deaf. I hope I heard that right, except that never actually factors into the plot in any meaningful way. So,
Except for me at one point to say, "Hey, you're gonna have to speak up."
yeah,
Um,
just
so
as a point of humility. And that's it. Anyway,
yes. So as I hiccup slash burp because I'm drinking my bubbly. This is my second to last. One would call it my pentultimate bubbly at the moment because I need to go grocery shopping. That's delicious, so refreshing. So, um, babe, which was nominated for Best Picture.
somehow. It must have been a slow year.
So
Um,
I also
well,
looked
I
and
mean, also we know that the Academy doesn't have to actually watch the movies that they vote on. So it's like,
uh
yeah, my kids liked it. It's the only thing I saw this year, so I guess I'll get to that. Kept my kids quiet for an hour and a half. I like these movies.
Braveheart won that year.
Oh, that was Braveheart. Okay. Another movie that I don't really, it's not a bad movie. I just don't really like it. It's one of those movies where it's like, I like moments in the movie. I like things about the movie, but the movie just kind of, eh.
And that movie dropped trow and didn't have an X in it.
Well, more like flipped up kilt,
Flipped kilt.
but
Dropped
yeah,
trow,
someone
flipped
someone
kilt.
gets like a pole arm or an axe to the groin or something like that.
I don't know. I'm sure there's some very indelicate moments.
Yeah,
So, babe,
babe.
what do you think, brother? Did you like it? Has it redeemed itself? Are you gonna watch it over and over again?
Well, no.
No, okay.
I am glad that I've finally seen the last half an hour of the movie, however.
Ditto.
Um,
I had no idea how it ended. I'm not gonna
it,
lie.
I mean, I could guess how it ends. I mean, the
Certainly.
marketing campaign shows that he takes the pig to a sheep herding competition. And if you had asked me when we recorded the last episodes, what do you think happens at the end of the movie? Because I know you haven't seen it. Oh, he wins.
Sure, sure.
And he
There's a
does,
happy ending.
yeah.
Happy ending. It's all gonna
Yeah.
work out. This is the feel-good movie of
That'll do,
that
pig.
year.
That'll do. Yeah, I
That'll
mean,
do.
and that's
Yeah.
that's fine. It's a kids' movie. I predicted the various beats of a movie, a G-rated film for children about talking animals. Clever.
Yes. Well done,
But
brother.
while so the Farmer Brown, John James Cromwell, whatever the character's name is, leveling his shotgun at the pig's face after he ties him down in the barn. That's where I shut off the movie
Yes.
30 years ago, and
Still don't
that's
like
still
it.
stupid as hell.
Still don't like it. I like when we got to that. So it was really funny because leading up to that part, it was further in the movie than I feel like I recall.
It's a 90-minute movie. That's about the 1 hour mark.
It's very funny because I was like, huh, I guess we made it farther than I thought in this movie. Um, because it's so vivid to me that moment of him doing that that I'm like, you've got but it does.
Oh, I remember hitting the off button on the cable box and pressing it hard. Like, oh,
But it's
screw you, movie. Thump.
but even watching it, so watching it again and making it past that part,
Hmm.
it still it still stands out.
That's
It's
the movie is not well written at all. Um, not that there's nothing to enjoy. It's some of the comedy, a lot of the comedy works because it's a kid's cartoon. It's just funny animals being silly. And just in isolation, the pig backs out of a chicken coop and falls off the ramp.
right.
And you know that the pig just fell off the damn ramp and they had Kristen Cavanaugh go, "Oh, whoops, ah,
Whoa!
thud," right?
Yeah.
There was a bunch of stuff that was clearly ad libs because the animals weren't doing what they wanted them to. So that's amusing. Some of the jokes are actually really funny. The animals are cute.
So cute.
If you can get beyond some genuinely terrible effects. Um, but as a story, as a narrative, there's particularly where Farmer Brown comes in, there's no motivation, there's no character, there's no arc, there's payoffs that have no setup. There's setups that have no or very little payoff. Um, Rex actually drops out of the movie for about half an hour, and I wondered where the hell he was because when he gets in a tiff with Fly, and I guess he didn't actually kill anyone, so he doesn't get it. He doesn't get Christy Noamed. Uh, he just gets tied down
Sedated. Yeah.
and it's like sedated. I'm like, like, did you like wholesale some some medicine for that dog. You could giving him injections I think probably like pills in his food to keep him. But at some point, I'm like, did he die or something? What happened to Rex? Because he's like, if he is, I missed it. I didn't see him in like any shot for nearly half an hour. So when he and then I'm like, oh, there he is. I guess he's just been sleeping under the cart for the last half an hour.
Yeah, it's just hanging
So
out.
yeah, I don't think the movie is well written like at all, which fine, I guess. It's more of just kind of a fairy tale in the
Yeah.
mold of this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and we don't really care about connective tissue because it's for small children and they only care about the funny talking animals.
Yeah.
Fine. I don't dislike the movie for that. And in fact, now I wouldn't say I even dislike the movie, but thinking that the pig actually ripped the throat out of one of the ewes
Right.
and ties him down and levels a shotgun. That is so horrifically stupid and insulting to even the dumbest of small children that
Right.
I'm still bothered by that.
No, I agree with you.
But
I didn't like
yeah,
that then. I don't like it now.
yeah. So when I saw this when I was 15 or 16, I probably had a bug up my ass about some. I think the thing is when did we watch this together or
Yeah,
okay, when we watched this, I think the Academy Awards had already happened. So it had
probably.
already been nominated. It had already been won technical achievement or effects or something like that. So I think my expectations were way too high, right? And
Yeah,
I
possibly.
was like, wow, this movie is not a good movie. This part is horrifically stupid, and the effects are genuinely bad. There's television commercials that have better talking animal effects. Hell, The Richest Cat in the
The
World, a
richest cat in the
cheap movie
world.
from like what, the 80s,
80s,
where they
yeah.
just smeared peanut butter in a cat's mouth and made him go nom nom yeah on
Yeah,
top of all smoky, all covered. That was a more convincing effect,
right.
right? Mr. Ed from like the 60s was a more convincing effect. I think that might have been peanut butter too. Um,
Huh.
or they let a chihuahua like gnaw on this horse's ankles and it's like ow, 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 ow.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? No, don't imagine. Anyways, please continue.
So I will say this.
Yes,
The end of the movie, um, which I would have to look at the release dates, but I think Air Bud ripped this movie off with the whole "ain't no rule says a dog can't play basketball" or whichever movie that
sure,
is.
sure, sure, sure,
I'd
sure.
have
That
to
is
look
it.
up the
That is
dates
Air
because this
Bud.
is exactly that, where he brings the pig in to do the sheep herding competition, and
Uh,
they all have to sit aside and comb through the rule book to figure out, well, there's no rule that says a pig can't herd sheep, so I guess we got to let him do it.
that's
And
funny.
so Farmer Brown gets out into the pitch, the field, wherever in the middle of the fair, um, which did. I was shocked that I actually noticed this. I had to go back and or pay attention during the credits to make sure I actually put two and two together. Did you notice the name of the fair was like the Dick Smith Fair or something like that? And the writer of the original book was like Dick Smith or something
Oh,
like that.
okay. They named the fair
Um,
after him
yeah,
for the
I was
movie.
like, I'm like, because I saw the name of the fair and I'm like, where have I seen that name before? Is that the based on original story by?
Oh
And I
no, I
looked in the
didn't
credits.
notice
I'm
that.
like,
That's
it
cool.
is. So
Oh, sweet.
maybe.
No.
Um, also, George Miller wrote and produced this film. Happy Feet, Road Warrior, Fury Road,
Mad
all that shit.
Max.
And
Yeah, no, yeah.
yeah. I was like,
Weird.
really? Huh? Weird.
What
Um,
an oeuvre you have,
So
sir.
anyway, Farmer John gets out on the field. I'm never what is his name? Hoggett.
Wash.
Hoggett.
Oh,
Farmer
hogwash.
Hoggett gets out on the field and he's like, go do your thing, pig. And the audience is jeering and laughing and throwing popcorn, and the judges are like sinking in their chairs because they're like, really embarrassed because this is televised nationally,
Right.
I guess, which
Yeah, right.
really
Is it? Yeah.
oh, is it? Is it really? um because this is a big deal. And then basically the pig trots out to where the sheep are and just kind of stands from the perspective of the stands. There's the pig's just kind of standing there with the sheep. And of course, what Babe is doing is he's repeating the past poem, Ba Ram you, something, something, something.
We're awesome and to
To
thy own
your
self be
sheep and
true.
wool be true, Ba Ram you, something like that.
Yeah.
So he's convincing the sheep. It's like, hey, I'm going to direct you around the course if you would be so kind. And again, the judges are embarrassed. It's on TV. Farmer Hoggett's wife is watching with she's on a women's ladies' night field trip kind of a thing. They're watching in their hotel room, and she's mortified. The audience is jeering, throwing popcorn again, and then the pig, the sheep in two by two, and I swear to God, they tied these damn sheep together to get them to
Oh
walk
man,
in
it
two
was
rows. But the sheep just starts leading the pig starts leading the
so
sheep. The soundtrack cuts.
cuts. It's a
Everyone in the audience is dead silent, and this scene goes for like 2 solid minutes of the pig just walking the sheep through the
I
course.
loved it. I
That
loved
was
it.
great.
I
That was
loved
worth the
it.
whole thing for me. I'm kind of sad I didn't see that 30 years ago because
Yes.
that was amazing.
Yes.
Everyone is just dumbfounded and silent. The score cuts out. Everything is
Nothing. You hear
just
nothing.
just the pig just there's no problems with the performance. They don't do a thing where it's like, oh gosh, will we get enough points? Oh, one of the sheep trip
Yeah,
or gets caught
nothing.
on. No, just walks through the course and goes into the pen and he closes the door and it's like
It
everyone's just
and then it's so because
so
and then
great.
the only sound is like in the very middle, like it cuts to Babe going, "Well, that's just beautiful, guys. Thank you so much. Now, if you don't mind, just one more thing. If the ladies with the red collar wouldn't mind just leaving the circle really quick." And like so it just like cuts to show you that he's like,
Yeah, he's
you know,
directing them. That's
Babe is still but like being so sweet
there's a
about it.
little bit of ambient noise, like kind
But
of wind kind of
so
noise and
oh my
Foley like footsteps and shit, but it's dead
it's
silent
dead it's
and they
perfect.
commit to that and it's hilarious.
It's great.
Yep,
It's great.
wonderfully well done.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I really, I thought that I agree with you. I'm like, huh, I had no idea that this is how this went. I was really
But that
excited. I was
comes
like,
after Farmer Hoggett says, "Oh, something ripped the throat out of one of my sheep." Now, I know that there are sheep rustlers. In fact, I had to drive them off, 2 weeks ago. I
right.
know there are wild dogs and shit that come in and beat up my sheep,
Yeah.
but but the pig has a little bit of blood on its muzzle, so must have been the pig.
Yeah,
A
no,
pig
I
that the
agree.
film sets up doesn't have enough of a chomper to actually
Hurt.
break the skin, and he
Yeah.
ties the son of a bitch down, stakes him to the ground, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm out, I'm out. Nope.
I can only suspend disbelief so
Yeah,
far, you see.
talking animals I'm fine with, but this is a bridge too far.
No, I did like though, and the thing is though, is I the humans were not important. Like that, though they are
No,
such unimportant characters. So like the whole idea of like their writing and like you said, like the writing and like the importance of all that, like it wasn't. Like none of that. The importance all like
I thought the
boiled.
fax machine was integrated into
That was
the narrative.
hilarious. That
Well,
was I like this like, oh, if you like it so much, you can have Mom, we have one at our house. That's why we want you to have one at your
so that
house.
we can talk.
I love that. Um, but I I enjoyed the narrator when the dogs are talking to the sheep and they talk really slow so they can understand them because you see sheep are slow and dim-witted, and there's nothing you could say that would make the dogs feel any other way. And then they say, and the sheep answered very slowly because dogs take a lot of and there's nothing you could say that. And
That was
I
funny.
found that
Yeah,
very,
that was good.
I'm
Um,
like, and I think that that was the entire like idea.
yeah, so let me
Yes.
put on my critical hat here
Oh, it wasn't on already?
and well, let me focus on some of the less important tangible details that just kind of annoy me.
Oh, okay.
Um, there are in the first half an hour, there are like five or six iris outs for the scene end. When a scene ends, it
Yeah.
irises out.
Hmm.
It does that like at least five times in the first half an hour of the movie. And then I think it does it like once more throughout the last hour, and then at the very end into credits. Also, the chapter breaks. I imagine that's following like the structure of the
Of
book.
the
It's
book,
probably the
yeah.
same chapters that the book uses or
Probably,
something, but
probably.
they're also really like the first four or five chapters are like really short.
Come hot and fast.
And
And
so
then,
when you're watching the movie, it feels, I almost thought that the iris out was just going to be a running gag and they just kind of dropped it, kind of like the chapter stops, which actually continues, but the first few chapters are like 4 or 5 minutes, and the last two chapters are 30 to
20,
40
yeah.
minutes. Yeah, so it kind of
Yeah.
feels like you know how if I'm remembering the right movie, The Batman, the one with Robert Patterson that came out,
Yes.
Pattinson that came out a couple
Yes.
years ago. Um, it starts with Batman narration, and then it doesn't do that for the next 3 hours of the movie. It's a very long movie, and
It
then
is
it
a
comes
long
in again.
movie.
And you're like, oh yeah, they're doing Batman narration. We haven't
Yeah.
heard that for 2 hours. I completely forgot it was a thing.
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of what it feels like in this movie. Um, I also don't I don't know what the hell the deal with the singing mice were. That
Blue
I guess
Moon.
it's a cutesy thing for kids. I
And
don't know why are we singing Blue Moon?
I
Kids
think
don't
that
know that
that
song.
is a running thing. I think that there was a lot of that. I think a lot of it was just to be happy. I honestly like which and I don't mind that. I think it is kind of one of those movies that is so needs to be taken in just a way of like just enjoy. Just
Yeah, it's an in the moment movie. Silly
it
talking animals,
yes.
just
It
enjoy it
is
in the moment.
kind of like what you were saying at the beginning of like, don't pay attention, like, don't think too hard. Don't like, just enjoy every moment as it's happening. It's funny. Like, it makes just so when and this is funny because I had no, like, I totally either forgot about this or, when little, Babe sings the Fa La 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 song. Um, in the previews for Babe, he goes la la la, but in the movie he's singing the Fa La 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 song, and it was very funny because I was watching and I'm like, oh shoot, he's singing A Christmas
Deck the halls,
Carol.
yeah.
Oh crap, I had no idea. I
Yeah.
always
I
thought he
forgot
was
about
just
that
going.
too.
I thought he was just vocalizing because he's in a great mood. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I ever realized he was singing A Christmas Carol, the Deck the Halls song.
Hmm.
Um and it's a weird like it lingers in that moment because he sings the whole fa la 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 la, but like it's slow.
It's weird, and
It's
it's
it
like
takes a while.
a solid 30 to 40 seconds of the movie, and you're like, what are we
What are we doing here?
I guess
But
it's kind of a we need to transition to Christmas, but I think the fact that Farmer Dave is putting up Hoggett is putting up a Christmas tree works. just
Yeah,
fine.
but I think but yes, it does. I think that that's what it was needed. But I think it just goes into more of the it's it it's just the most quintessential other than the stupid, rifle, shotgun, sorry,
Hmm.
part. Yeah, Kelly doesn't know her guns well. Um,
It's a shotgun, I believe.
it is a shotgun, I know. Um, it's just a movie that makes you smile. And like every new moment, like you're just supposed to be happy and watch it and just think good things. And does that make it a best picture? No.
Oh,
Does it make him a best actor? No. But does it
I
make
really
it
did like
like
James Cromwell's performance, though.
no, I did.
Although
I
he
think he was
is,
great. I
but
think
what's weird is every other actor, every other human actor in this movie is very heightened,
yes.
right? But James Cromwell's character, he's like in a different movie. And I don't know if they did that just for the contrast of his little dance towards the end of the film, which also just
Comes out of nowhere.
unmotivated.
Yep.
Like Farmer John here does not. Hog,
Hogwarts.
Farmer Hogwarts, yeah, he has like there's nothing that sets up the competition is a thing that I always wanted to do, or I
Yeah,
had
because
my
it's his
sights.
wife who's competitive,
Yeah, I mean he plays on.
not
They
him.
start the movie and I read the trophy and I completely forgot what the hell she won. It was
Not
a
a clue.
pie or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
But
so.
he's thinking about keeping the pig, and he's like, "Yeah, shame to eat the pig for Christmas dinner because getting good and fat, we might be able to win a prize at the next fair." She's like, "A prize, you say?" All right, yeah, that's fine. But there's the when the Jamaican team wins or gets crosses the finish line at the end of Cool Runnings, you're like, yeah, because that's something specifically that they worked for,
Yeah.
right? I don't know why that example of out of any of them, or the Cleveland Indians going to the World Series or well, that's a second movie, but winning I think the division or something at the end of the first movie. Um, it's something they work through for the movie, but the whole pig thing doesn't, or the sheep herding thing as the competition really doesn't come in until like the last half an hour. It feels like it's
Yeah.
something he does just kind of on a lark because he's bored, doesn't have anything better to do,
Yeah.
right? So when he wins at the very end, it's like, oh well, good on you. It's
Yeah.
not a fist pumping thing because it's not
It
there.
wasn't his
Nothing
dream.
sets that up. There's no
Yeah.
arc. There's no thing. There's nothing really set up where he's not like the henpecked husband where his wife thinks he's useless and he's going to prove her wrong, or
No,
I mean,
but I will say it is very fun. Like I did say to Jeremy when we were watching it, I said, the difference is I would never have doubted you, my honey, because like she's like trying to block the TV from her ladies who lunch, who aren't ladies who lunch at all, by the way. They, um, but she's like trying to block the TV and she's like, oh no, please don't look. Like she's beside herself, like for embarrassment. And I was telling Jeremy, I'm like, I'd believe in you.
yeah.
You want
But
to bring a pig to this? You go
when
right
he
ahead, baby.
wins, she's
She's
befuddled and the tear rolling down her cheek, like
and
you
proud of
did it.
him.
I'm so proud of you. It's like
Yeah,
I mean, you would be. Hey, you just won a competition, but it feels like this is the payoff of something that just was not set
yeah,
up,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Um, like, I mean, you can kind of say, okay, well, we know Rex wanted to do this,
yeah.
but he lost his here. I mean, because they talk about how he lost a competition because he lost part of his hearing when he was trying to save some dumbass sheep who wouldn't get their asses out of a flood.
Dude,
Um,
that was like the saddest part of the whole
yeah.
movie. I was like, "Aw."
But there's no, so you
Actually, the
can
beginning
kind of
was the
read
saddest
stuff
part of the
into it, but there's
movie.
nothing in the movie that really indicates that this was a unfulfilled dream for Farmer. I don't, there's no sense that he remembers that or gives a shit, you
No.
know? He's just doing his thing. He's fine. Doesn't seem to care. And the whole thing seems like kind of a lark. I, so,
I think I see it more as like this is a man who has kind of nothing. He has his wife. has pies and prizes and all these things that I don't want to say all these things that she does because, I don't, but like she has this club that she's going on a 3-day thing with these ladies, because she even says, like, how much trouble can he get in 3 days? And she like leaves him in meals for
Feels like a
every,
late edition, right? Because there's
yeah,
nothing in the first hour of the movie
no,
that's like, I have to keep my eye on that husband. He'll get into trouble if I'm not.
yeah,
There's nothing. It's like,
exactly.
where's this coming from?
But like,
He
but what
seems
I'm
pretty self-sufficient to me.
right. Yeah, he really does. But like that's the thing is like he also I think that's the thing about him is that yeah, nothing is set up for him to have quote unquote dreams, but I think that that's why it works is because he is that guy who is looked at as you are the quintessential man of status quo. You never rock the boat. You don't do anything different. You are the man who gets up at 5 a.m., eats at this time, he is the you of that universe. But
Do
like
you
that's
think he wants much more than this provincial
yes, exactly.
life?
And I think that that's the thing is that because you see him at Christmas, like he builds this,
Dollhouse
first off, he builds this dollhouse and leaves paint
twice.
cans open and
At the
like
edge of a
on the
table over the
yeah,
carpet in a house that has a cat in it.
yeah.
You
So first
just
off,
sure whatever happens, farmer.
asking for it, asking for it, Hogwarts. So like there's that one. I was like, well, those paint cans are open. You cannot blame anything. That's on you.
Well, I mean,
That is on you.
at least you didn't shotgun the cat. You
Right.
know?
So I think it actually does kind of go in the fact that like he does the same thing day in and day out. And then the days that some days are harder because someone comes in and steals half of his sheep. And then, his son-in-law is telling him you need to redo your house because you're falling, with this. And like
Your finances, right,
your
right.
finances are doing this and his grandkid is like this isn't the dollhouse I wanted and they're trying to get him to modernize
Right. I
himself and
thought they were
and
gonna
the
say,
only thing that he found pleasure in, like if you notice, like the first time he found pleasure was when he fixed the gate so that it didn't like hit and
slam
like
open, right.
slam open. So that was the first time he's like, yes, I feel like it was the first time that he showed some emotion. So I think that like for him he was
Just
just looking for something, anything to find a meaning, anything to find purpose. And like he saw this pig that did something. And I think it was just something that finally sparked him and gave him an energy to do anything that felt like that something meant something again. And I think
maybe, but
that's what it
I
is.
feel that that's something you're more kind of inserting into the film because it fits and makes sense rather than something that's actually dramatized by the movie itself.
Sure, could be, but
For example, knowing that the sheep herding competition would climax the movie, when the son or son-in-law, whoever that is, comes in and he's like, "Oh, I'm looking over your finances, and this is bad." I'm like, "Oh, okay, so he's gonna have to shoot for the winning the prize, but he can't use his
mm.
dog because the dog is deaf. But maybe I can use the pig and." We'll have to sell the farm if we don't. But no, none of that. We don't
Yeah,
have
that never comes
stakes.
back around. That never comes back
There's
around.
no stakes except the
No,
one that
and
pulls down
that's
the pig so that he can shoot it in the face with a shotgun for murdering for tearing the throat out of a sheep that's much taller than he is.
And I think that that's another thing that I find so very interesting. I did enjoy the movie. I really did. It was very interesting to sit and watch it again. It's probably not one I'll see again, obviously. There's no really need to. I'm very happy we watched it. I really am.
Mhm.
I definitely still find that tonal shift so tough right there in the middle. Like it really just doesn't fit. But I love the end. Like when that
Oh God,
soundtrack
that's great.
clips, when that goes down and he walks, when Babe walks when Babe walks the pigs, when Babe walks the ewes, you're like, oh man, oh that's good. Oh, this, I mean, it's just it.
That's filmmaking.
But the thing about the movie, and maybe again, and you and I have talked about this, sometimes it's timing. Sometimes timing really is everything. And like the thing that's great about this movie, it's not a great film.
No,
I don't know. It didn't deserve the hate we gave it. I also don't
no.
think it deserved the love that people gave it. But the one thing I do think that it does deserve is that I just think that there's there's a lot to pick apart since you've done that. That's fine. Because there is a lot that is like, if you look at it as a film and like all the things that you and I look for, like substance and plot and all that kind of stuff. But like, if you don't, it really is just the most, it's kind of like this whole, there's no stakes. It's wholesome. You're happy. It's pretty. Like it's really a beautiful, like it's artistically beautiful. Like it's painted backdrops. You know it's a painted backdrop. Like sometimes
I
like him, it's
think
really beautiful like
I
him
was wondering about that because I think it's shot on location.
in
A lot of-
Australia.
but a lot, oh, was it in Australia?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But there were a lot of shots that were photographed in a way that made it look like films from like the 40s would be shot, where
Yeah.
they would build a set and put it in front of a scrim or a
Yes.
some type of backdrop to extend the set out into the hills and stuff like that.
Yes.
Um, and I was like, my thoughts are, I was like, I would have liked them to lean into that aesthetic,
Yes.
right?
I think they should have leaned a little bit harder, but
Also,
like,
it just as a funny note, when they do the fair at the end of the film, and it's, well, hello, folks, this is Bob, your announcer for the fair that's entered nationally, and we've got a little bit of spotty weather today, but it should be all right. I'm like, they had one day to shoot this, and it was really cloudy. That was an ad lib. I know the
that's
weather wasn't as clear as they were hoping it would be. That's
that
definitely
was
what
my
happened there.
so um I loved those announcers because once the pig actually started,
Oh,
uh
yes.
and they're like they're
That
the commentators, they go
it's just I got nothing.
yeah. Then they can't even say anything, and I'm like, yes, that makes great radio.
Yep, yep.
Um, but I mean, I smiled the whole time. Like, it's just like I said, like we said at the very beginning, like it is a moment by, yes, it does culminate. It does kind of go somewhere,
Yeah,
but it's just tiny little scenes and kind of they connect.
I would imagine that
And
the
there you,
original book is meant to be read to small children chapter by chapter each night. Like
there
tonight,
you
we're
go.
reading
Yeah.
chapter one.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, we're
Yeah.
reading chapter, and I think
That
that
probably,
feels like
yeah.
the intended way to consume that
This
work.
story. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I can see that.
Based solely on having just watched the movie, and not actually read the book, which I assume is probably not very long, but I wonder if is it called Babe or is it called I think they said it in the credits. I think it was like the sheep pig or something like that.
Oh, it probably is called The Sheep Pig.
I don't think I don't think Babe is the name of the book. I think if I'm remembering the credits right, it was something like the sheep pig or something. Um uh in addition to yeah, was I overly hard on the movie? Yeah. I mean, I do think the shotgun thing is as infuriatingly dumb as it was 30 years ago. But
Agreed.
I think really what my biggest beef with the movie was is that it it was hyped up too much. You know, everyone loved it.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
It was nominated for picture. It won effects, and I'm like, but the movie's I mean, it's fine, but it's not
Yeah.
good enough for best picture, and the effects are genuinely bad.
Yeah, you and I have a problem with that when movies get hyped up, you and I
Yeah.
definitely need to
Like I'm
watch
glad we
out.
saw Gladiator before it was nominated because I would have
Oh
been
my
like, what?
God. Oh my
Um,
gosh.
but like the most of the effects are either just trained or as best you can train
Yes.
animal
Yes.
photography, and puppetry. Uh,
Yes.
there is a fair amount of CG work for facial expressions and mouth movements, which is usually they keep the camera back far enough or shoot it in like a barn at night, so it's like fine. Right? Uh, but it's not really good CG animation. And the puppets are friggin' terrible. And I think the reason, because I was watching the movie, I was thinking, uh, what I was thinking while I was watching the movie is like, what I'd like is one, lean into that like 40s aesthetic of just, we're gonna not shoot on location, we're gonna build a set and just have painted backdrops, right?
Yeah.
Um, because I know they're alluding to that style with the way they were shooting some of the scenes and the lighting and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think that's actually a location shot, but the way they're shooting that is meant to evoke that kind of a feeling. Anyway, what I would have liked to see the movie see is like Babe done as like a puppet film, like a Muppets movie, right? I'm like, I think all of the puppet, no live action animals, all puppets. I think
Mm.
that would have made them work a lot better because you have this kind of uncanny look because they don't look good. They don't match with the live action animal. It's always super clear when it switches from a real animal to a puppet. And then I watched in the credits that the Jim Henson Company did the puppetry. I'm like, okay, it's not it, it's not really bad puppetry. Well, actually, it is. It looked really bad, and particularly the goddamn goose. It looked terrible, or the duck looked really bad. Um, that poor duck. I could imagine they were constantly chucking that sucker from off camera.
God. Oh
Poor
my
duck.
God.
We didn't hurt any, no animals were harmed. It's like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you threw that duck a few times.
Yeah, that was something. That poor duck.
But I think the movie would have worked a lot better for my aesthetic
For
sensibilities
you. Sure, sure,
anyway.
sure, sure, sure,
And
sure.
that's all that matters, really. If this was done like Labyrinth or something, where you had live action animals, but all of the live action people, I'm sorry, but all of the barnyard animals are Muppets. I think
Right.
aesthetically that would have worked a lot better. I think that would have been a lot more visually consistent than the constant switching back and forth between the live animals and the puppet animals because they do not match at all.
The
I'm
only ones that really got me were some of the sheeps. Like I was pretty like
Sheep are
I was
so
okay.
weird looking with those eyes anyway. So
Yeah,
yeah.
like so I was pretty okay with a lot of the dog and the and Babe.
Hmm.
Uh I mean I could tell, but I was actually pretty good with those. Pardon me. I was like, okay, but it was but it's sheep are so strange looking anyway because they're a big old cloud with little tiny heads. So like it's
With those
we don't
weird eyes.
like so they
So
look
with
bad
those weird
anyway. So it's
horizontal
like the
pupils that
minute
they
like
have.
yeah, I mean they're already weird. So it's like, man, you're making something that already looks unnatural. So though that was the hard one for me. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's it be tough. Like Wallace and Gromit is you know they looked like Wallace and Gromit sheeps.
The sheep and the yeah, yeah, I know what you're
Like
talking
that's
about.
I'm like might as well just be that. Like so. But anyways, um, but yeah. So I'm really like I remember us talking about this last week, and I was very much dreadful,
Oh,
dreading this moment.
Rhythm and Hughes was the visual effects
I
house, and
saw. I love the name.
they
I
went on to
love the
have a
name.
they went on to have quite a career, and they went bankrupt some years back, unfortunately.
I know, but I love that name. I feel so
Rhythm
sad.
and Hughes, yeah,
Yeah,
that
it's
is a good
really
one. They're not around anymore. I mean, I think someone probably bought and absorbed them, but I don't think the
sure.
company
But the
as it
actual rhythm
existed
and
really exists anymore.
yeah,
But
I will
it's a
say
shame.
that's one of the things that I find very fun about doing this with you is that before like seeing all the old movie houses and production companies and everything, I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that in quite some time. I'm
Like
like, oh
seeing the
yeah.
like seeing the Orion logo or something. It's like
Yes.
I remember Orion
I'm like,
pictures.
oh hey, look at that. I forgot all
Or you
about
see like the
you.
really old Columbia lady,
Oh yeah. Oh
right? The
yeah.
Columbia
Yeah.
pictures,
Yeah. So yeah, that's always very interesting. I'm like, huh.
or
I
like
for
the old Fox logo,
mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
20th Century Fox and stuff.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep. So that, yeah, seeing all either the old logos or logos that are defunct, very, very interesting. That memory lane little bit is a very interesting thing for me. I'm like, oh, that's very fun. So yeah, and then seeing that like rhythm and hues, I'm like, oh, look at that, look at that. So yeah, very fun little little journey we've been on.
Oh,
So
and
yeah,
I recognized her voice, but I couldn't place her. The who did the voice for Babe? That's Christine Cavanaugh, who's
yeah,
very
Rugrats.
prolific voice actor throughout the 90s.
Yeah.
I don't know that she's done anything in quite a while, but
She passed young,
did she die? I didn't know
very
that.
young. Yeah.
Is that why she stopped voice acting?
One
Shit.
would assume that they coincide, those
I,
reasons.
I mean, hopefully she retired and enjoyed a nice retirement before passing, but
I doubt it. She passed, I think, at like 50. So,
hmm.
uh, one would assume that she worked
Yeah.
uh,
Well,
until she couldn't. I
yeah,
don't know.
I think she was Dexter on Dexter's Laboratory, and I think she was the little girl on Darkwing Duck. I think those were her
Oh,
big roles. I
I
don't
know
remember
she
the
was on
character's name.
Rugrats. That's the one I
Oh
remember.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She's on Rugrats too. Yeah, she was in a lot, and you definitely hear her voice
Yeah,
in a lot of the
yeah,
90s cartoons.
yeah. That's the one I
So
remember was Rugrats, and then Dexter. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, um, but yeah, no, I would assume that she would still have been working because what a great voice for like, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
those for great cartoon
Great
voice.
cartoon voice, yeah.
Have no idea what the woman looked like, have no idea
Yep.
anything.
And she was on I know I don't know who, but I know she's on Powerpuff Girls somewhere, probably multiple characters throughout that series, but yeah, yeah, she was pretty much any cartoon, one of those very prolific actors of that era before she stopped for
Working.
some reason.
Yeah, unknown.
Yep.
Cause is unknown. There you go.
All right, well,
Excellent.
that's my mandated movie. So, what would you like to mandate we watch to see if it's as bad as we remember?
I'm really upset about this.
Okay.
So there were two that immediately sprung to mind
Mhm.
when we had this category. I will tell you the other one later.
Yeah, I think I came up with my movie before I came up with the theme. I think I
Yeah.
was like, I want to watch Babe. What theme could we? Bad as we remember.
Yeah. So as bad as we remember movies, there are two movies that I absolutely remember as being horrendous. One of them, neither of them do I have any interest in watching again. One of them we're about to.
Hmm.
Uh, but I chose the one mainly because of its availability.
That's a good reason because I rarely ever think to actually see if it's available before I mandate it.
Um, yeah. I I believe and I have watched the trailer again, and it does not give me hope. However, that being said, I do believe you've watched this since because you agreed with me when we watched it the first time, and I don't think we liked it.
Okay.
I never gave it another chance. I believe you've given it a second chance, and I believe you like it now.
Okay.
This movie is Mars Attacks.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Do
I
you recall
remember
watching it
we
together?
saw this in the theater
Yes.
and it was not marketed properly because we went to see a very different movie than what we got, and none of us liked it because we weren't
Yes.
prepared for it. I have since seen
Okay.
Mars Attacks. In fact, I've got it on back on the shelf there somewhere, and I really do like it.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see how you react to it now that you know what kind of film it
Yes.
actually is.
Okay. Yes. Because that's the thing. I watched the preview again and I'm like, I'm so concerned. Like, what is.
Don't watch the trailer. That's not what the movie is.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Kind of
the thing.
reminds me of Inglorious Bastards, which was marketing a very different movie than
Yeah.
what we got. Luckily, I really liked the movie we got, but
Right.
I have to admit I was a little pissy and indignant sitting there in the theater going like, I like this movie, but I don't like how it was marketed. You lied to me.
Yeah.
Still a good movie, but it's not what I came to see.
Yeah. So Mars Attacks. Good. You own it, so you can just watch the
Cool.
one that you own. So yeah, so that is the one. And that was the one that like of the two movies that we watched. And the other one I know you also hate or didn't like, but this one I was
Was the other one nothing but trouble?
yes it is.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I ought to revisit that at
Yes
some
it
point just to see maybe it.
just yeah, that was the other one, but it wasn't on it. It is streaming,
Mhm.
but on like some of those, it's gonna have a commercial in the middle of a speech, and I'm not here for it. Platforms.
Yeah, because it's a movie that's weird in a really gross and off-putting way that
Yes.
may have just rubbed younger
Yeah. Us.
Eisen siblings the wrong way. And now that
Yep.
we have a more adult perspective and can appreciate the grotesque, maybe it would work
Maybe.
for us.
Yeah.
Don't know. Or
But yeah,
maybe
that
it'd
was
just be really ugly, gross, and stupid. I
yep.
don't know.
But absolutely, that was the other one that those were the two that immediately were like, well, these are the two that just I fully remember from youth being like, no, nope, you know what?
Nope.
And it's also so funny because I truly had forgotten that Tim Burton did Mars Attack, like
hmm
fully at, completely extricated that fact from my mind. And like as we see, I am surrounded by Jack and Sally things. um yeah, I'm a it's interesting. So anyway, so yes, I cannot say I'm excited, but I am going to be watching this movie. No,
I
it'll
am
be interesting.
morbidly curious.
I am because it is one of those movies that I have over the years. I have heard people say good things about it, and it's always weird because I'm like, really? Did we watch the same movie? But it's because I have heard that exact thing that the movie that I expected it to be is not the movie that it is. And that
Like, I
even
don't
when I,
think it's a great movie or a
no,
hilarious movie, but I do enjoy the movie now.
but and that's the thing is that it's just the presentation is not, it just needs to be, um, understood for that which it is. So I also feel like it, it also probably, and I guess we shouldn't even talk about it yet because I don't know, but I have a feeling that it takes slash um not pays homage to, that's not what I like, pays homage, yes, but also parodies, that's the word I'm looking for, some films that when I was younger I was not aware of. And that now I might be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's definitely more in design and vibe and music is paying attention to paying or parodying a lot of low budget 50s sci-fi films and stuff. But it's also that a lot of the design comes from the actual property Mars Attacks is based on a set of trading cards, kind of like Garbage Pail Kids.
Really?
Yeah, it was just a set of like I don't know 40 cards called Mars Attacks, and they were just little vignettes of weird little goopy skull aliens coming down and uh just splatting humans and disintegrating them, and we fight
Interesting.
back and stuff. And it tells kind of a story. There was also one that was like, I think, dinosaurs attack. They're really gross and really gory in kind of in a way that makes 8-year-olds go, tee hee hee, this is taboo. My parents wouldn't like it if they knew I was looking at this. They're
Sure.
just snotty and gross like the Garbage Pail Kids. Although Garbage Pail Kids are more snot and vomit, and Mars Attacks and the dinosaur one are more you know, gore and stuff. So death
There
and
you
gore
go.
and things.
I do remember Garbage Pail Kids, man. Those are fun.
Yep.
Fun, fun. Well, there you go. All
All
right.
right, great. All right, so today's episode may have come to an end, but As Bad as We Remember month continues next time with Kelly's mandated movie Mars Attacks. If you'd like to watch it too, check out the description to see where it's currently streaming or available to rent. Until then, you can watch Movie Mandates on YouTube or listen to it in podcast form on iTunes. If you like the show and want us to reach a wider audience, that's probably not going to happen. But yeah, you can always like, comment, subscribe, rate, review, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm Andrew, and you can follow me on Blue Sky at Andrew Eisen.
Eyes smiling at me. I'm Kelly.
What blue skies do I see?
At Pimento Olivia, just the 1-0.
We hope you've all enjoyed this episode of Movie Mandates, and we'll be back soon with another mandated movie. Bye, everyone.